How would you like to be a millionaire? Well, if you would, then I'd suggest you follow the 29 steps that I'm about to outline in today's video. I'm going to explain the 29 macro decisions that I made in the order in which I made them to build a $10 million a year online consulting business. My name's Charlie. Let's get into the video. The first thing I did was pick a niche. So I started my business 2.5 years ago. It's called Imperium Acquisition. And the most important thing that we did at the beginning was decide who we wanted to work with. A niche allows you to centralize your attention and focus. The niche we decided to go for was agency owners. The reason behind this is because we knew agency owners, because we were agency owners. Long story short, we had a marketing agency doing marketing for gyms. COVID hits, we lose all of our clients. We go from 100 grand a month to 20 grand a month overnight because of COVID. So we decided to pivot and start working with agency owners. And so the first thing you have to do is pick a niche. Please don't try and start a business with multiple niches or in a general market. You can make as much money as you could possibly so desire just by working with one person and solving their most painful problem to the best of your ability. That's all business is you pick a group of people, you diagnose a problem, and you solve that better than everybody else in the market, and you will win. And that's exactly what we've done with Imperium. So step 2 here was to craft an offer. So once we devised the niche and once we diagnosed the problem that the niche had, we had to create a sales argument and create a compelling, easy to communicate and easy to comprehend and understand line of text, essentially, that encapsulated our ability to do what we said we were going to do with risk reversal, with guarantees and such. And we basically decided to have a complete money back guarantee refund on our product. And the offer that we had for the first, I think, 18 months in business was, if you work with us and buy our program and you do not see a return on investment within 6 months, we are legally obligated to issue a full refund. Now, having signed, I believe, nearly 500 clients in the first, no, probably more than 500, 600 or 700 clients in the first 18 months of business, it turned out that we didn't have to refund anyone with the exception of 3 or 4 people. We had a refund rate of far less than 1%, and the product was pretty good. So step 2 was to craft the offer and actually create a reason for people to buy, because newsflash, people need to have an incentive. They need to feel safe. They need to feel secure, and they need to have this impression that you're actually going to deliver what you say you're going to deliver. And if you sell websites, logos, web design, you need to have a service that actually delivers results for someone. It's important. So step 3, sending cold Loom. So I kid you not, we decided to start the business, right? We picked the niche, we created the offer in the first day. The very next day we started sending cold Looms. And this is not even an exaggeration. Bo's my business partner. We understood that in order to get this thing off the ground and to start building immediately, we needed to do outreach as much as we possibly could. So we basically devised a very simple strategy, which was to send cold Looms to business owners in our niche through cold email. We decided not to mess around with any software or get fancy with it. It was me making a 1.5 minute Loom, like a little sort of pitch video, and sending that out on an email. And I can show you what this looks like. This was December the 10th, 2020. We decided to start this business on like December the 1st or something, and this was one of the first emails that we sent. Bear in mind, we were agency owners doing like 100 grand a month, right? Or we sort of were struggling because of COVID. But we were like, we knew how this stuff worked. But we wanted to, for really the first 3 to 6 months in the business, to do all the painful stuff ourselves. Bo, my business partner, would spend 4 hours a day in Facebook agency owner groups, sourcing the leads and finding the emails. And I would spend 4 to 5 hours a day recording Looms and sending these emails personally, right? So we came into this business with no pride or ego. We wanted to learn the market and learn the work, and we had to do that. So that was that. This is an example. We started sending cold Looms basically immediately. And because of that, we started booking appointments basically immediately. When people start a business, one of the most common mistakes they make is they start by building things that don't matter. The only thing that matters to a business is cash, right? And if you're not focusing on generating money and making profit in the first, couple of weeks or days or months of the business, you haven't got a company. People who say they're the CEO of an agency when all they have is a website, an ego, and a logo doesn't end too well for them. We didn't really build a we didn't build a website for, I think, like 2 years. You'll see. I'm going to walk you through the priorities we have. Step 4 was to sign 15 test clients. So we didn't even build our product. We had our guarantee and we had our offer. We asked ourselves, we were like, well, how do we know that this is going to work? Because what we didn't want to do was spend months and months building an info product and putting all this work in, only to find out that our offer didn't resonate, that our market didn't resonate, that the price point didn't work, or that people didn't even want the thing in the first place because of the conditions of the market. And so what I did is I sold thin air for about 2 months, where I'd get on with these people and I was compelling and persuasive enough to be able to sell them on a $2,000 payment for a program that hadn't even been built yet. And once we got 10 to 15 of these, I think it was around 8, we started to think, okay, this is good. We actually started to build the program. We had like 10 clients, 15 clients basically waiting for this thing to be built. Don't ask me how I did it. I'm not quite sure how my sales acumen was that well developed, but I managed to do it. And, took some time, but, we managed to accrue, I believe, it was like $25,000 $1,000 in cash in the first like month or two. And we just got off the ground basically, because the first thing you have to establish is proof of concept. And the only way to establish that is to actually start selling the thing that you're going to build to see if there's any interest. We knew it was going to work because we had the offer was booking appointments. When you're starting a business, you're looking for signs of life, right? To establish proof of concept to scale. So you can put volume through the thing. And the first sign of life is someone actually resonating with your offer, because that demonstrates there is an interest. And typically if your sales script is built using the same premises and conditions that your cold outreach is, it's going to work the same, but we wanted to be sure. Logo and name. So it wasn't until we had multi 5 figures in the bank that we actually started to brand the thing, because we didn't want to mess around with logos and names and websites and social medias and all this crap until we actually had a business. A business is an entity with cash in the bank, with customers paying for a product. So when you have that, you have a business. Without that, you have nothing. Anyone can go and build a website. Not everyone can go and get a client. There's a big difference, okay? So we built our logo and our name. So this is a funny story. I was sat in my parents' house. We have this old rocking chair. I was sat in the living room. I was playing Call of Duty Zombies. I was just zoning out. I don't know. I can't remember why. I was playing Call of Duty Zombies and I was playing on Kino de Toten, right? If any of you know that map, represent, right? And basically, I was on a call with Bo and we were like, well, what should we name this? And Bo's mum, of all people, God bless her, basically came up with the idea of the name Imperium, because we were thinking about, do we call this like agency, growth, flow, insert name here, like do we go, but we were like, oh, we want something classic, something that's going to stand out, because right now in the market everyone seems to be calling themselves funnels this, traffic that, growth this, like blah blah blah, and we just wanted something that sounded completely different. So we went with Imperium Agency, which seems to have worked pretty well. And then we built the logo. And funny story, I literally, like, this is no word of a lie, let me pause. So lo and behold, I just have to find this in Canva for a second, but this is the logo I came up with. I built this in, I think, about 1 minute and 45 seconds, and I'm not even joking. We literally spent we had a 5-minute call on the name, and then I spent about a minute on the logo. That is how little this stuff matters, right? This is built in Canva. By the way, the first client we ever signed was a guy called Ron. This is me emailing him basically saying, hey, welcome on board. And this was in January of 2021. Okay, so you can see that we started doing outreach before Christmas. I was taking sales calls. A lot of people didn't actually onboard until January, and that's when things really started kicking off. So that was that. So, once we had clients, we were like, all right, well, we'll build a logo and a name because this thing's actually got legs. We've got cash in the bank, and then we began. Then we started building program version 1. So this was basically the first info product we built. It was version 1 of our program. We've basically been through a couple of iterations where we are probably now on like our 4th or 5th iteration. But we built V1, and V1 was basically, what we did is we packaged up the Loom system we were using to get clients, and that was it. Now we had some other modules, and I'll show you what this looks like. So this is what the first product looked like. So first of all, with the initial conditions of the product, we did not have self-transcendence. We did not have paid attraction mastery. We did not have build your team or service. We basically we sold a couple of modules. So inside of this version 1 program, we had the cold Loom system that we were using to get results, which we still have nowadays because it still works. And we had 7-figure sales strategies. That was the first initial sort of thing that we had inside of the program. Then we just rolled that out to clients. And we were kind of shitting ourselves because we were like, this thing better work. Because if it doesn't, we're going to have to refund all these people their money, and like we could be screwed. I knew it was going to work because it had worked for us, it had worked for our agency before, and we tested it with a few other people. But there's always that sort of scary feeling when you teach someone to do something, like, are they going to do it properly? And then we started our community. So our community is basically our original Facebook community for our clients. We've actually moved over to school now, but this was our original community. We grew it to a couple of, I think 600-700 clients or something. But this was where we hosted our community for our program. Then we started building a cold DM system. So what we basically did, if you can see this here, this is an example of the cold outreach, right? So what I would do, and I would do this personally, there was no pride. We were making, 10, 20, 30K a month, and I was still doing the cold outreach, right? There's no shame in that. I would send personalized videos to people. Bo and I sat down and we basically built what we now call the DM sorcery system, okay? We didn't copy it from anywhere. This is the thing. What you have to understand is that all of the best strategies that we've developed for client acquisition, we built ourselves. The reason that we've grown so quickly and so fast and had so much success here is because we haven't copied anyone. We haven't copy and pasted people's programs. We haven't copy and pasted people's sales scripts. We haven't copy and pasted people's processes, although, to a degree, a lot of it's been heavily influenced by Sam Evans. With the acquisition side, we've done it very differently. If you look at my YouTube channel and the way that we acquire clients through YouTube, there's nobody that does it in the same way as me. Same with Loom, same with cold DM. So we built this cold DM system and I started basically sending cold DMs. Bear in mind, at this point, we are still sending cold Looms. Around this point, we do actually outsource it to a virtual assistant, and we have someone called Rowie handle that for us, but that's that. Step 9 is to start improving on the product. So at this point, we're signing, clients. We've increased the price to about $4,000. We're signing anywhere between 10 to 15 people per month into the program, like very low numbers, like 40, 50K a month. We're starting to improve the product. So self-transcendence, if I show you this in Easy Grow, this was the real game changer for our clients. We saw a lot of shifts and a lot of changes happen in our clients' businesses when they basically started implementing the Loom systems. But the real big needle mover and the real thing that we see time and time again is self-transcendence. So this is inside of school, but I made these videos a long time ago, but they are timeless, basically. And this was basically I think like nearly 20-hour video series on everything that I know about entrepreneurial mindset, okay? And so this thing took me, I think, about 3 months to build. So I went dark mode. I didn't talk to anyone, didn't do anything. I offboarded the cold DM system, the cold Loom system. We actually signed less clients as a result of this, and we sort of scaled back the acquisition so that I could focus on this. So, I built this and then we rolled it out, okay? That was step number 9. Step 10 is to scale the outbound system. So at this point, we've got, 50K a month coming in. We're doing quite well. We've got like 80, I think our profit margins, because we didn't have any sales rep, so there was nobody claiming any revenue. We were doing really well. So then we start Trustpilot. So this was a huge, huge decision for us, because when you look at info businesses and people in this space, it's very rare to find that they have a Trustpilot. At this point, we decide to start a Trustpilot because we've got all of these clients getting these great results and stuff, and we're like, well, what does everybody else not have? A Trustpilot. Why do they not have it? Because they're too afraid, because they're going to get people writing nasty reviews and stuff. And so, we started this and we rolled it out to clients, and it just became a huge success, to the point now where we managed to accumulate 330 reviews. There's a couple of 1 stars on it. Trust me, it happens. You get people in here who don't like the sales process, or they don't like the YouTube videos, or they don't like me. Maybe they don't like my birthmark. I don't really know, mate, but it happens, right? So we start the Trustpilot. That was step 11. Step 12. This was the biggest thing I've ever done. The biggest needle mover, the most important decision I've ever made, with the exception of hiring people, partnering with my business partner, and being born, was to start this YouTube channel, okay? So we decide at this point we're doing 50K a month or whatever organically. We're scaling up. We've got reviews coming in, testimonials. We're like, what's going to be next? And, at this point, Hormozy's channel is starting to tick up. And Bo and I have this conversation. Bo's like, well, maybe we should start YouTube. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. If we look back here, the first video I ever made for this channel was far from perfect. And trust me, they still are far from perfect. I'm painfully aware of that. But what you can see here is consistency, right? I have uploaded 3 videos a week basically for the last 2 years without any breaks or any stops. Come hell or high water, come long COVID, come anything, I continue to do it. And this was my first video 2 years ago. And as you can see, I look like some sort of patient during lockdown, I believe. And as you can see, I've even got like a fucking mullet coming through. It was a pretty dark time to be alive for me. But I just started making videos, right? Random videos. Like, dude, this was like...
Receive a cold message. Just observe.
You can see here, like, it was just terrible quality. And it just started to work, right? For some reason, the videos that I started to make just started working. I'd just be walking in the woods and be like, oh, I'm going to shoot a video with my AirPods in. There was no Rode SMB7 microphone. There was no fancy camera. There was no editor. There was no thumbnailing. There was no titling. There was nothing special. Now they look a bit more special. But I just started making videos. I just started sitting down in front of a camera and talking about whatever I wanted to. And the biggest mistake people make with YouTube is they try and start perfect. They try and get everything to be like in line and everything perfect before they begin. And I was just like, give me a hat and some AirPods, will blow you guys away. And for some reason it worked. And so I've just stayed consistent with YouTube nonstop. The truth is that I really enjoy it. I really love it. I like making videos. I enjoy helping you guys and adding value. So that's that. So that's a YouTube channel. So then we start the organic funnel. So if I head back to YouTube here, which might be useful. By the way, if none of you have ever listened to Weekend by Flume, Slowed and Reverbed, you haven't lived, so go and listen to that now. You probably haven't, right? But after the YouTube channel, we create this funnel, and also I create this description. So you will observe that in every single YouTube video I've ever made, with the exception of a couple of at the beginning, we have used the same description, right? This description has been an absolute game changer for us, and it's true and it works. And so we built this funnel, and I've used the same funnel, although I changed the video about 6 months ago. I've used the same video the same funnel, the same copy, the same script, the same testimonials to book. We've booked, and I'm not even joking, like we book God knows how many appointments through this thing. Tens of thousands, honestly, more than that probably. And so we start this marketing funnel. This is basically the first form of our website, because we don't, at this point, we're doing 50 grand a month. I've got a YouTube channel. We still don't have a website, right? So we build this so that, we can send traffic from the YouTube channel, because that starts to happen. And then what do we do next? Then we hire our first sales rep. So at this point, YouTube starts to take off. The outbound systems are working. I'm working on the product. So we'll hire our first sales rep. Hiring the first rep was phenomenally difficult. We'd had a couple of reps before with NorthFlow Consulting, but the truth is that I think we got lucky. We got through, I think, like 3 or 4 people before we found a really good one. And his name, ladies and gentlemen, is Jack Roberts. If you know Jack, if you know, I love Jack. Jack is still with us today. He's basically our head of sales under David Dre, our sales manager. Yeah, we found Jack, and I'll never forget it, because I was in some real pain with this, because I'd hired like 3 people, 4 people. None of them had been able to close. And then I introduced Jack, and in the first day he closed his first deal, second day 2 deals, third day another deal, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So when you find that first rep that can close, there's no better feeling. It feels amazing. Okay. Then we hire 2 setters. So at this point, I'm sort of like, how can I remove myself from the acquisition? So I hire 2 appointment setters to basically run the systems for cold DMs, because our cold DM thing is still working really well. Cold Looms are still working really well. At this point, I'm still doing the cold DMs, but we've got virtual assistants doing the cold Looms. And up until this point, just before the sales rep, I'm still taking all the sales calls myself. Okay. Then we do some more product improvements. So at this point, like we've got acquisition dialed in. We're doing sort of at this point, I think like 70 to 100 grand a month. YouTube channel starting to tick up. 2 setters, sales rep coming in. And now we're like, right, what do we focus on? It's the product. All right. So at this point, this is when we start introducing these new modules. So here we are in Kajabi. So this is where we hosted our first product. And if I can go into here. Okay, so this is where we start making product improvements. So at this point, I start working on some more organic attraction videos, right? So then we start introducing our cold calling methods, new lead sourcing methods, new cold messaging methods, LinkedIn automation methods. And then also we start adding paid ads, we start adding funnels. Bo goes to the wall and makes a 64 video long service delivery module, which he still doesn't receive enough praise for to this day, which trust me, does just upset him sometimes. Not upset him, but you put all that work in and not enough people use it, it's going to annoy you. So we start improving the product. And this has always been the cornerstone of our focus for building this company, is product first. To the point where nowadays, like Bo and I have this conversation every day, like what can we actually do to improve the product? Like what can we introduce? What can we remove? What can we add? What can we delegate? How can we make this thing better whilst maintaining a low operational drag? Because here's the thing about product development, right? You can make it incredible by basically doing everything for everyone, but in doing so, you massively increase what we call operational drag in the company, which removes your ability to scale, which actually means you can't help as many people. Because if I took on 10 clients and did everything for them, I could make 100 grand a month, for example, but I'd only be able to help 10 people. The impact and the meaning of the work is significantly less because the volume of clients is lower, because we've got more operational drag. And so, anyway, at the point, Step 16, product improvements. 17, at this point, we hire a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rep, because the YouTube channel starts to do really well. Within a couple of months of starting the YouTube channel, we're booking like 4 to 5 appointments a day. A couple of months after that, it starts to really get a bit insane. Now with the YouTube channel, we can book 40 to 50 appointments a day. It kind of is insane. Step 18 is to hire operations manager and video editor. So at this point, we've created a lot of mess. Bo and I are so intertwined in the systems. We're still doing client support. We're still doing delayed payments. We're still doing like failed payments. There's so much like dealing with that just comes with signing clients and working with people that we need to now outsource and delegate this. And so we hire, insert a guy called Nor. If any of you guys are in Easy Grow, you'll be familiar with Nor. Nor is probably one of my favorite people on this planet. The amount of stuff that he does and the amount of value he has to our company is just unbelievable. He's wonderful and I love him. And Nor, if you're watching this, you have my heart and my soul, man. No homo, of course, in Dubai. No homo, I promise, right? No homo. So let's get back into it. So operations manager. So we give Nor all these tasks, and this gives me and Bo this insane level of like clarity. We've no longer got these tasks. We've got so much weight off our shoulders. And this, for the first time, we can actually start to properly think, right? Because up until this point, all of our decisions have sort of just been chaotic, right? It's not really, it's like, we should start a YouTube channel. Okay, yeah, we need a funnel. Yeah, okay. I'm doing too many sales calls. Like, it's too chaotic because we were doing too much and we didn't have any sort of cognitive capital left over to actually make effective decisions and strategically think. And so operations manager is great. Then we hire a video editor. Shout out to Kian if you're watching this, which you definitely are, Kian, because you're probably editing this video. We hire Kian, our video editor. And at this point, the quality of the YouTube videos improves. Kian starts doing thumbnails. We start actually getting better retention. The YouTube channel starts to do a lot better. Then we have a vision. So it's funny because as soon as we started to delegate everything, that's when we actually had time to think. At this point, with like 4 reps, we're doing like 150K a month. This is in February of this year, right? So we've really gone from like 200 grand a month. Yeah, February we're doing about 200 grand a month. So we've gone from 200K a month, give or take, to about $1 million a month, give or take, in 6 months. And the core central genesis, if you'd like, of that 5x growth in 6 months, which basically what it's been, is setting a vision. There's a whole story on how I came up with the vision for the company, and I'm actually going to pause and add it to my list. So I'm going to make a video on how I came up with my company's vision and how you can come up with your company's vision and how to visualize like some cool stuff. But we decided we wanted to have like a mission statement where we could like, instead of just being like, we want to make 200 grand a month, we want to make $1 million a month, we want to do this, we wanted to have like a simple statement that could encapsulate all of our effort. And that was to make client acquisition easy. Okay. And so what we basically did, what I did is I sort of thought for about a week, like what are we here to do? Like, why does this company really exist? Other than just to make money and generate profit and, help me buy my dream car. Like, why does this thing exist? And we realized like, we want to make client acquisition easy because I don't like the fact that client acquisition is hard for people and I want it to be easy, right? So that was sort of one of the most important things we did was actually sort of stop working for money and start working for a vision. And I think that now we're at 8 figures. We've kind of done that because pretty much every single client we sign, to my knowledge, every single client we sign in EasyGrow, if they do the work, client acquisition is easy. It doesn't become a struggle anymore for them, which is amazing. Then, this is where the going gets tough. This was the hardest part of this entire journey was to build EasyGrow. So EasyGrow is the program we currently sell. Don't worry, there's no sales pitching coming, but this is obviously part of the process. I'll wait till the very end to try and sell you something. Don't worry. You can click off way before I get the chance. But we build EasyGrow. And this was the hardest 9-month period of my life. I shaved my head, right? And if you you can see what this did to me, right? So I'd like to think that right now I look pretty cheerful and pretty colorful. My hairline seems to be relatively decently intact. But if we start going down to here, right, and we get into these, where am I here? Yeah, you can see I do not look at this. This is when I was building EasyGrow. I do not look well, right? I look like I'm in the gulag or something, mate. Like, this was the worst time of my life. It's the best time of my life because, at the end of the day, like I was able to build a pretty good product. But you can see here, like, I'm making these videos. I kept YouTube consistent throughout, but mate, I was not in a good place, like mentally, physically. For 9 months of my life, I sacrificed everything. I stopped going to the gym. I stopped eating properly. I stopped meditating. I did nothing. My whole day was I'd wake up, walk over to my desk, and I would work on EasyGrow for 9 whole months. And if you're wondering what that looks like, that is basically creating Google Docs, and I can show you an example, right? Creating Google Docs to basically dump all of my knowledge of client acquisition, psychology, appointment booking, sales, etc., into a Google Doc, right? Into Google Docs, and then going through and making 2 to 3 to 4 hour long videos on each Google Doc to explain how it worked. Now, this module alone, Acquisition Genesis, took me 3 months to make. For every hour of content recorded in Acquisition Genesis, took me about 30 hours of work, okay? And that's not even a joke. That's not even a joke, right? It took me that long. And the reason behind it is because I wanted to be perfect. And so what I would do is I would make these PDFs, right? Or these Google Docs, all colorful and, visually presented and stuff. And you can see, this is just one video in EasyGrow at the beginning, right? And you can see this is like I don't know how many pages, I think it's like a 40-page PDF or something. This was the worst thing I did. Building Acquisition Genesis was like, obviously this is just the first part. We already had sales transcendence. Sales systems was already dialed in, so I didn't need to worry about that. But then I had outbound systems, right? And I had to basically re-record and rebuild what was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 7 modules or something. And then also I had to build the inbound systems and explain how we get clients through YouTube. We now got Twitter. It was painful, to say the least. It was probably the most depressing time of my life. It was horrible. My hairline receded. I lost all my muscle mass. My relationship fell apart. I lost a ton of friends. I'd get sick. This is another thing as well. Like I had long COVID at the same time. So I was getting sick like every 3 to 4 weeks. I'd get like a cold. I was eating all these I was just eating fast food and junk food from like meal delivery. It was bad, right? Anyway, step 20 was to build EasyGrow. You get the picture. Virtue signaling done. I suffered quite a lot. Now, then we create the new offer. So we come out of the build and we actually create the new offer, which is basically to guarantee 20 clients or a full refund plus a $5,000 wire. You cannot argue with our offer. Step 22. Now we build a website. So at this point, we've been through 3 or 4 iterations of product. We've got a team of 8 people or whatever it is, maybe 10 people. We've got a funnel that's generated us thousands of appointments, a YouTube channel with 10,000 subscribers or whatever. And just now, we decide to build a website. Okay, so the reason we waited so long is because, well, we didn't feel the need to, and then we built it. And even then, when we built it, it's still so simple. YouTube results, and this is the other thing. I haven't really put this in here, but we've been very diligent with keeping a track of our results, right? So basically, on the website, the main reason we had the website was to showcase all of our results, because we were getting all these results from people. You can see here, I'm just going to keep scrolling whilst I talk. These are all clients like saying things are good about the products and stuff, and like we just didn't stop. So the reason we built the website was only to just showcase the results, because you can't really showcase this many results on a funnel. And I'm just going to kind of give you the point now. If you want to understand our strategy for the whole thing, it's just to build the product that is the best. And you can measure that by looking at the results that people have got. And I honestly think that, like, with our company, when you look at our competition, we are leaps and bounds ahead of them in terms of results. I mean, to actually do this scroll takes like a good minute of your time to actually just get through all of the results when we're talking about good stuff. So that was that. So we build the website. Then we hire a head setter. So at this point, we've got like 3 or 4 appointment setters, and I need someone to basically manage them all. So I actually hire a good friend of mine called Will, who comes in and actually manages the setting team. Will was one of our appointment setters who was already setting appointments. He just started crushing it. So I was like, hire people, do your thing. And he now runs a full-time, like 4 or 5 person setting team. And he makes like a lot of money doing that. And he books us like, I think, last month, he booked like 300 appointments or something just through cold DMs. It's insane. Okay. Then we hire another rep. So at this point, we've got 5 reps. Then we start YouTube ads. So at this point, like Easy Grow's launched. The offer's there. We're going from 150, 200 grand a month to like 300, 400 grand a month. And we're just adding like 100 grand a month to our revenue. Like it's just ticking and ticking and ticking over, right? And then at this point, we actually hire a proper tax accountant. So up until this point, we had an accountant called Karen. She was amazing. She was fantastic. Very good, very diligent. We felt that as we went from 7 figures to 8 figures, we needed someone to actually advise us properly on the tax systems and like everything. And so we had to like basically do that. If you're wondering which tax accountant we use TaxGem, okay? This is, honestly, TaxGem. So it's run by a lady called Steph. I cannot recommend TaxGem enough. If you want to move accountants, move to them. They have been managing our accounting for, I think, like 3 or 4 months now. And it is just, I mean, dude, the amount of money we saved. Like, I sent Steph this message because I had this HMRC tax bill. And I was like, my personal tax bill. And then she sent me a message back and she saved me £15,000 with one message, right? So worth the weight in gold. TaxGem. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get a kickback or a payment from them if you buy from them. But if you do decide to work with them, then just say Charlie Morgan sent you, because I already love Steph. She already loves me. She's actually coming by the villa in October. We've got a mastermind together, so she's going to come and hang out. But I love her. And it was a very important decision for us because, we were making all this money and we'd kind of be a bit screwed if we didn't have Steph, because we'd be losing a lot more money. We start YouTube ads, we hire the tax accountant, and then we have to hire 3 more reps. So we've always had this theme where like we've always been able to generate more demand than supply in terms of sales calls, right? And that's mainly because of the product. And I'm not even joking. Everyone is so focused on acquisition and acquiring clients that they forget that like the product is the main thing. When you build the best thing in the market, when you build something that is unparalleled in terms of value, in terms of quality, in terms of just raw, unfiltered value for your clients, and something that can actually truly solve their problem, you win and you get appointments. I haven't looked at appointments for 6 months. And I mean that. I haven't had to do anything to get appointments for the last 6 months. All I've done is make YouTube videos and make YouTube ads, talk to my head setter, and then just make sure the cold emails are being sent out. We've never really had a problem with appointments. And the reason behind that is because we've always had the best product. And because we have the best product, we can have the best offer. And the offer's communicated with confidence. And so that's that. So we have a sales team of 8, which is up to now. We're actually about to hire another rep, so we have to have 9. Then we hire David Dre. So this is a decision we made like all of 2 to 3 weeks ago. So this is up until like present day, where we hire David Dre, who is our current sales manager, because, if we want to go from 8 figures to multi-8 figures, we kind of need to have like some management structure with the sales team. When you get to a certain point, your bottleneck is typically always going to be sales, right? And sales conversion rate. Because, if you've got a team converting at 20%, if you bump them up to 25%, the increase in revenue becomes insane just by a small increase in conversion. So then step 29 is we move to Dubai. At this point, like we were paying about £3,000 a day in corporation tax, 25% corporation tax. It's like £1 million a year, basically, in just profit tax. And that's not to mention like if you take the money out, Like the UK is pretty awful with it because they tax you at 25% on the profits you make. And then if you want to extract that profits for anything north of 50,000 a year, it's like 40%. So your overall net being taxed at like 50 to 60% on the money you make if you want to receive it as the owner of the company. And to me, that just seems pretty criminal. So we moved to Dubai, and that's step 29. Now, obviously, there's probably loads of other micro steps between these, but off the top of my head with my memory, these are the things that we did, and these are the order in which we did them. The main thing is the product, right? That's really the only thing that matters. If you get that right, everything else is easy. In terms of the next steps for us, well, you have to subscribe to find out, because I have a lot of plans, a lot of exciting stuff to develop and build. I'm really happy that I've got this YouTube channel because it allows me to document this journey and see the stages of my life at which I've been through, so that, it's just like a little journal, man, but I also get to add value at the same time. So yeah, that's it. If you need help getting more clients, there's a link in the description. Have a good day.